Hey guys, I'm so excited about the masterclass this month because we have Amy Porterfield. I've wanted to interview her like since forever. She's the Facebook marketing guru, really social media marketing guru. And so Amy, thanks for coming and joining us for this masterclass.
Thanks for having me, Michael. I'm honored to be here.
Well, let's talk about a question I know that stumps a lot of people when they start getting involved with Facebook, and that is the difference between a personal page and a fan page. Can you explain that so that those of us who are just novices can really understand it?
Yeah, so this is a question I get asked all the time. So for those just starting out, your Facebook profile is your personal persona. Facebook says you can only have one profile because you're only one person, and it should be your first and last name. And that's where your friends and acquaintances can connect with you. It was really meant for that social connection type of thing, more casual than anything. And then years later, Facebook decided to have these fan pages or business pages. And that's where people click like and become a fan. And that is where you want to talk about your business more often than not. And you want to promote and tell people who you are and what you're about in the business sense. So, but the great thing is these days, most of us are using our profile and our fan page for business. You see a lot of mix in there because I don't know about you, Michael, but a lot of people connect with me on my profile. Even if they're potential customers, they like to connect on the personal side. And so now I have 5,000 quote unquote friends on my profile and then a bunch of people on my fan page. So I like to mix things up and talk a little bit about business and a little bit about personal on a regular basis.
Now, is there still a limit on the personal page of 5,000 friends?
There is, but I'm so glad you asked that. So on your profile, where people actually ask to be your friend, there's a limit of 5,000. However, Facebook just added a follow button. So if you go to facebook.com/follow, you should be able to find a page where it talks about adding the follow button. What that is basically people come to your Facebook page and they can click the follow button and they instantly follow all your public posts. They don't need to ask to be your friend. So just make sure I didn't mix up any words. That's on your profile.
Okay.
And so that means every time you post publicly, you get out into the newsfeed of everybody who's followed you. You'd be amazed when you add this follow button, how often people click it. And so now you're getting double the exposure. They've liked your Facebook page and they're following you on your profile.
Oh, that's cool. Now, okay, I never thought about this question until just now, but is there a higher likelihood of a post coming off your personal page ending up in other people's news feeds? Is that more likely, or is it more likely coming off your business or your fan page?
It all depends on your engagement. So if you're posting and people are commenting, liking, or sharing that post, and if they do this on a regular basis, you're more likely to get out into the newsfeed, whether it be your profile or your page. So it really all comes down to getting that engagement.
Okay, help me with this, because this kind of ticked me off when it happened. But when Facebook went to this algorithm, I figured if people subscribe to me, they want to hear from me. You know, I mean, why does Facebook need to be an intermediary and decide what they hear and what they don't? What's Facebook's argument on that?
So Facebook feels that they have the secret algorithm that has to do with how people engage with your post and then in turn if you get out into their newsfeed. Facebook feels that they want to make sure that your experience is very personalized and you're only seeing the posts from the people that you care most about. And in their eyes, they think that if you're liking a post, you're liking a page, you're commenting, you're sharing, then that means you're engaged with that person. So they're going to put that person into your newsfeed more often. So it really depends on your activity in order to see these. And I agree, it's really frustrating. People like my page, then why shouldn't I get out into their newsfeed every single day? Unfortunately, we got to play by Facebook's rules. So you just got to go along with it sometimes.
Yeah, it is what it is. And, you know, it's hard to get through to anybody there, at least in my experience. You know, let me tell you what the strategy is I use between those two, and tell me if I'm thinking about it incorrectly, because it's different than what you're doing. And so now it's making me question my strategy. But I've kind of left my personal page for my family and really close friends, like maybe 150 people. And, you know, people slip in there occasionally. And then I've used the fan page for everybody else. And that way I can have a little bit more intimate conversation, say things within that smaller circle that I might not say in the public spaces, even though I'm pretty personal, you know, out there as well. So Is that a bad strategy? Should I not be so discriminating between those two and just kind of mix it up?
So what you're doing is actually what I wished I would have done from the very beginning. I just said yes to anyone who wanted to be my friend from day one. So I have this huge friend base that I don't feel comfortable deleting everybody, so I just go with it.
Yeah.
However, if I was just starting out, Michael, I do exactly what you did, where I like the idea of you actually get to use Facebook for what it's for, whether it be for keeping things personal and intimate with your family and friends, and then having your business page to keep things more public. Now, because you do that, you are going to get a little less exposure on Facebook, because when I post on my profile, now I have thousands of people that can see that post, but I really don't get to use Facebook in a personal way like I really wish I could. So I say keep it that way, but just make sure you really pay attention to what you're putting on your page.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And I try to be very deliberate about that. And I'm much more active, frankly, now on my public page. But when I decided at one point that I don't know, I had several thousand friends and it was getting unmanageable and there was stuff in my feed that I really didn't care about and all that stuff. And so I wanted to convert it to a fan page. And in those days, now this was probably 4 years ago, I sent an email to support@facebook.com. Just a wild, crazy idea. And I said, can you transfer all these to my fan page? I literally didn't hear like for 6 weeks.
Of course.
And then all of a sudden, I get a message and they said, you're welcome. We've done it. And so then now I asked, I wrote a post about that and people say, I tried that. It didn't work. Well, evidently that doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Is there a way to convert a personal page to a fan page if people want to do that?
You can do that. And one thing you need to know is that when you convert a profile to a Facebook page or a fan page, you're going to lose all your content, all your images, all your posts. You're just going to get those friends to become fans. So we don't recommend it. It's a little bit wonky and doesn't always work right. So one thing I always say, if you want to move your friends over to your fans, then post on your profile, hey guys, a lot of my clients make a video, 2-minute video. I've got this new Facebook page. This is what I'm doing there. Come on over. I'd love to have you there. I'm going to post more over on my page than my profile. I don't want you to miss out. So click the link and I'll see you there.
Yeah, that's good.
Hey everyone, this is Stu McLaren from PlatformUniversity.com, and there's a lot going on in the membership site this July. You won't want to miss our Backstage Pass, where Michael and his team share their experiences, including both the challenges and the rewards of putting on a live event.
Event planning is one of those things that everybody always says, oh, I want to be an event planner. It sounds so glamorous, and it's really not that glamorous. You can be doing everything from booking a speaker and booking travel. That's kind of glamorous, but you could also be, clearing tables and setting out dishes. So it runs the gamut of everything.
Michael reviews another Platform University member's website in the Member Makeover, and don't miss our regular live Q&A with Michael at the end of the month. You can expect to see all of this and so much more happening this month at PlatformUniversity.com.